Hello there. We've seen a little sunshine through the day, but where we've got the holes in the cloud, they'll tend to fill in with some mist and fog as we go through the night. And there will be some dense patches of fog around through the weekend. It's going to turn chillier as well, but it should, for most of us, stay dry. We're under the high pressure as we go into Saturday. We've got slightly more breeze in the west, keeping the frost at bay and the low-level fog. But you can see the temperatures are a little bit lower than the night just gone, so it could be a bit frosty in a few places first thing Saturday. But with a bit more breeze, we're hopeful that we'll see a little bit more sunshine coming through across Scotland, Northern Ireland, and again the likes of Northern England, Wales, but perhaps the cloud may thin a little bit more further east across central and eastern parts of England, but it's going to be cold here. Temperatures no higher than 4 to 6 degrees Celsius, below average. We still keep something a little bit milder towards the north and west where we've got this southwesterly wind, but by the end of the day on Saturday our weather front's starting to approach. There's some subtle changes for Sunday. Still under high pressure for many, so a little bit more fog around, potentially some dense fog on Sunday morning, and again a frost because it's just thin cloud that we have. Then a bit more sunshine for a time, a slice of sunshine potentially, but then we've got this weather front coming in late in the day on Sunday, coming into Northern Ireland, Western Scotland. So relatively mild here, but even colder for some parts of England and Wales, and particularly so where the misty low cloud lingers and even the fog. But as we move into next week, particularly the middle of next week, it's looking more unsettled with wind and rain instead in the forecast. Hello, it's been a quiet week of weather, very little rainfall around, a steady thaw of the snow and the ice that we've seen, and the quiet weather's because of high pressure which stays with us this weekend. We're pulling in more of a southeasterly wind, so I think the main change that we'll see is temperatures dipping away a little, both by night and indeed by day. They'll really struggle to get to 4 or 5 degrees, particularly for England and Wales. Further west across Scotland and Northern Ireland, we're closer to the milder Atlantic air, but we will notice that chillier feel even across the north and east as well. But it should stay dry for most of us. We're probably going to have a bit more dense fog around once again. Perhaps a few patches Saturday morning, a bit more breeze in the west, so that will alleviate the risk here so much, just hill fog. But it should help as well to break a few more holes in the clouds, so perhaps a bit more sunshine for Scotland, Northern Ireland, and again Northern England and Wales. 1 or 2 parts elsewhere seeing the cloud thinning, but the temperatures are lower, the 6 to 9 on Friday, more like 4 to 6 or 7 on Saturday. And it'll be a frosty start Saturday, and it'll be a frosty night again on Sunday. Even though we've got all this cloud, it's quite thin cloud, so it does mean temperatures will dip away. It'll be a chillier night for Scotland and Northern Ireland, locally some frost around, and with more holes in the cloud, potentially some more fog, some dense fog around by the time we get to Sunday morning. It's just one to watch all weekend really. The other subtle changes are weather front approaching, bringing rain into Northern Ireland and Western Scotland later. But if anything, because we've got all that cloud and that potential fog around, it'll be colder still on Sunday for England and Wales and for eastern Scotland. So those are the subtle changes. Then as we go into Monday, our weather front pushes through, very little rain left on it. Hopefully it'll clear initially some of that low-level fog around, some showers follow into the north and west, and temperatures just recover a little to around about the average, so 7 to 10 degrees Celsius. But actually we go back to a fairly static picture then through Monday night into Tuesday, so there could well be some fog around on Tuesday morning, showery in the north and west, and we've got the breeze coming down from the north. So again, it's not a particularly warm looking day or start to the week. Temperatures only about average, and there will be some cold nights as well where we see the clearer skies before the fog forms, and that's because we've got this area of high pressure still kind of holding on across central and northern areas. The low pressure starting to wind itself up though further south, so giving some wetter weather across Spain and Portugal initially. For ourselves on Wednesday, it's fairly light wind flow away from the north, so bits of mist and fog again, perhaps some showers coming towards the south and west, but temperatures again only around about average, and it will be a cold start with some frost as well under that area of high pressure. So we'll show you the rainfall accumulations really for into next week. You can see only appreciable rain really is forecast across northern and western Scotland, perhaps western parts of Northern Ireland, and just the odd spot elsewhere, probably coming from some thicker cloud at times. So it's still looking largely dry through next week. It's the latter part of next week that the low pressures finally look as if they'll start to make inroads, more so later in the week as those low pressures deepen further. And so we could have not just rain, but some windier spells of weather as well. But that is still a significant time in the future, so we'll need to be keeping a close eye on that. The forecast does show the temperatures coming back to average. It does show rainfall as well for many of our capital cities, but at the same time we've still got that blocking high to push out of the way. So still some very quiet weather as we go through the weekend. Do watch out for the fog and the frost.